They say Seoul is a city where money screams, but true wealth whispers. If you have money in this city, you don't need to show it. But at Hanul International High School, nobody understood that rule. Here, money shouted. It wore luxury backpacks, it drove imported sports cars, and it laughed loudly in the hallways to make sure everyone heard. And then there was Malik. Malik was the only African student in the senior class. When he transferred in the middle of winter, rumors flew through the school chats like wildfire. Some said he was a diplomat's son, others guessed his father was a famous musician. But when the students saw him get off the public bus that first morning, the rumors died instantly. They saw his coat, which looked old and worn at the seams. They saw him eating a cheap rice triangle from the convenience store for lunch. And just like that, the curiosity turned into pity. And for some, it turned into cruelty. Minho was the king of the school. His father owned one of the biggest construction companies in Gangnam, and Minho believed that your net worth was the same thing as your human worth. One afternoon in the cafeteria, Minho decided to make a scene. He walked over to Malik's table, slammed his tray down, and sneered. He called Malik a tourist, but Malik didn't look up. He just kept reading his book on macroeconomics. This silence made Minho angry. He wasn't used to being ignored. He laughed loudly, loud enough for the whole room to hear, and told Malik that the school had a charity fund for students who couldn't afford lunch. He offered to sign the paper for him. The whole cafeteria went quiet. They waited for Malik to fight back. They waited for him to get angry. But Malik slowly closed his book. He looked up with eyes that were calm, almost bored. He simply thanked Minho for his concern and said he wasn't hungry. Minho didn't understand. He pointed at Malik's old winter coat and asked how his parents could even afford the school uniform. He asked if they had spent their life savings just to get him inside the gate. Malik touched the sleeve of his coat. It was true, it was old. But Minho didn't know the history. He didn't know that Malik's grandfather had worn this exact coat when he signed the treaty that united their country's oil fields. To Malik, it wasn't old clothes, it was history. But Malik learned a long time ago that lions do not explain themselves to dogs. So he simply smiled and said, "It keeps me warm, that is enough." Not everyone was cruel. There was a girl named Ji-yoon. She was a scholarship student, working part-time at a bakery just to survive the pressure of the Korean education system. She knew what it felt like to be looked down on. One day in the library, she asked Malik why he let people treat him that way. She asked why he never fought back. Malik reached into his bag and handed her a bottle of juice, a special blend meant for energy. He looked at her and told her something she would never forget. He said, "My father taught me a proverb. The river is deepest where it is most quiet. Let them make their noise, Ji-yoon. It doesn't change who I am." Ji-yoon took the juice, worrying that it was too expensive for him to give away. She didn't know that the drink was flown in specifically for him from Switzerland every week. She just thought he was kind. As winter turned colder, the bullying got worse. Someone knocked Malik's books over in the hall. Someone wrote "Go home" on his desk. Then came the announcement for the Founders Gala. It was the biggest night of the year, a night for parents, investors and politicians to show off their power at the Grand Hyatt Hotel. Minho cornered Malik by the lockers and laughed. He told Malik not to bother coming. He mocked him, saying the ticket price alone was probably a year's salary for his family. He leaned in close and whispered that Malik was a stain on the school's image. For the first time, Malik's eyes hardened. The boredom vanished. He looked Minho in the eye and promised him that he would be there. He said, "I think you will be surprised by who belongs where." Minho just laughed as he walked away. But he didn't see Malik take out his phone, an old model with a cracked screen, and dial a number. He didn't hear Malik speak into the phone in a different language, saying simply, "Father, yes, it is time. You can come now." The night of the gala, the ballroom smelled of expensive perfume and ambition. Min-ho stood with his father, Chairman Park, greeting the Minister of Trade. They felt like they owned the city. Then Malik entered. He was wearing a simple black suit, no logos, no flash. He stood alone near the back. Min-ho spotted him instantly and rushed over to humiliate him one last time. He asked if Malik had snuck in through the kitchen staff entrance. Malik replied calmly that he had used the front door, just like everyone else. Min-ho gestured around the room at the gold watches and the diamond necklaces. He told Malik to look at the real world. He told him that these people ran Korea and that Malik was just a charity case. But before Malik could answer, the music stopped. The lights dimmed. The school principal walked onto the stage, sweating nervously. He announced that there was a change in schedule. He said that the single largest donor in the history of the school had just arrived to discuss buying the entire district's development project. Min-ho's father, Chairman Park, looked confused. He was the biggest donor. Who could possibly be bigger than him? "Thy," Principal's voice shook as he introduced the guest, His Excellency, King Adebayo of the Osupa Kingdom. The double doors swung open. The room went dead silent. Security guards who looked like military special forces entered first. And then the king walked in. He wore traditional robes embroidered with real gold thread that caught the light of the chandeliers. He walked with an ivory cane. He didn't look like a businessman. He looked like an emperor. Behind him trailed the mayor of Seoul, looking small and eager to please. Min-ho whispered to his father, asking who that was. Chairman Park turned pale. He whispered back that this man owned 40% of the natural gas supply to their country. If he sneezed, their stock market crashed. The king walked through the crowd. The sea of people parted for him. He didn't look at the mayor. He didn't look at the principal. He was looking for someone. He stopped right in front of Malik. Min-ho smirked, thinking the king was about to kick Malik out for crashing the party. But then the king smiled. He opened his arms and said two words that shattered Min-ho's reality. "My son." The king hugged Malik. The crowd gasped. Min-ho dropped his glass and it shattered on the floor. Malik hugged his father back and asked how the flight was. The king laughed and said he wanted to see the school Malik had chosen. He asked if he had enjoyed his normal life without bodyguards. He asked if they had treated him with respect. Every eye in the room turned to Malik. Malik looked slowly around the ballroom. His eyes landed on Min-ho. Min-ho was trembling. He knew his father's entire business depended on energy contracts with Malik's family. One word from Malik, and they would be ruined. Malik looked at his bully and said simply, "It has been educational, father." The king asked to be introduced to Malik's friends. Malik stepped forward. Chairman Park rushed over, bowing so low he almost fell over, claiming that his son Min-ho was Malik's best friend. Min-ho couldn't speak. He couldn't breathe. Malik looked at Min-ho. He could have destroyed him right then. He could have told his father everything. But Malik looked past him. He pointed to the coat check girl, Ji-yoon. He told his father that Ji-yoon was his only friend. He told him that when he had nothing but a convenience store lunch, she shared her table. He said she was the reason he stayed. The king walked over to Ji-yoon and took her hand. He thanked her for looking after the prince. He asked if she was on a scholarship. When she said yes, he told her, "Not anymore. Your university tuition is paid for, anywhere in the world." The night ended with Malik walking to the waiting convoy of black SUVs. Min-ho stood outside in the cold snow watching. Malik walked over to Min-ho one last time. He took off his watch, a simple-looking watch, but on the back was the royal crest. He handed it to Minho. He told him, "You asked why I never fought back. It is because if I fought back, I would have destroyed you, and a true leader doesn't destroy the weak. He protects them, even the ones who don't deserve it." Malik got into the car, the window rolled up, and the prince disappeared into the night. Hingdo. Minho stood there, holding the watch, realizing that he had spent months mocking the only person who could have given him the world. He learned the hardest lesson of all: never judge a book by its cover, especially when that book owns the library. This has been a story from Midnight Seoul Folktales. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe and turn on notifications. We have many more secrets to tell you. When the city sleeps, the stories wake up. Good night.